Welcome to episode 36 of the Tough Draw Talks podcast. I'm your host, Brad Hughes. Appreciate you being along for the ride. This afternoon, we are coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas during the PBR World Finals in 2023. We are down in the historic stockyards at the Brand Room, where if you're looking for an authentic Western experience and some of the best food you'll find, you can find it here. When you're deciding to come into the Brand Room to grab a bite, there's no better apparel to have on than merch from the Lane Frost brand, our presenting sponsor this year for the podcast. We appreciate everything Stetson and the Frost family has done for us here at Tough Draw in all of our ventures, including this podcast. Be sure and visit lanefrost.com for some amazing hats, shirts, and everything Lane Frost. Use our code TDT15 for a discount on your purchase. My guest today is a repeat customer and a good friend to us here at Tough Draw. Since we first visited with him on episode 8, he has advanced his program in such a tremendous fashion that it secured him PBR Stock Contractor of the Year at this past weekend's World Finals. Not only is his bull Legend sitting in the top 5 currently, but he also has a total of 15 bulls here at the PBR World Finals. I'm talking about none other than the big man himself, Blake Sharp. Blake, how's it going today, man?
Good, bud. Appreciate you having me again.
Yeah, it was so cool to see Saturday night you get crowned Stock Contractor of the Year. That was so cool. I know you know that we usually start off with some icebreakers, a little bit of rapid fire. We're going to save a little rapid fire section for later, a little special one. So if y'all want to know a little bit more about Blake, refer back to episode 8 where we talked to Blake a couple years ago. But let's dive right in. All right, so I just alluded to it, Stock Contractor of the Year. I've given you so much crap. You said you haven't cried yet. What do you remember about the phone call when you got that phone call? What do you remember about that?
We had just left Tacoma, Washington. We spent 2 weeks up there in Washington for those 2 PBR events, and we had a great both weekends there. We left and we're headed home, and we were on our second stop. Got the phone call kind of unexpectedly, and I was told I'd won it, and pretty emotional. Didn't really know what to say at the time.
Yeah. You said it was unexpected, but I have to ask because you have so many quality bulls. Talk a little bit about the competition that you have. Some of these other guys that are going up and down the road, like you haul a bunch of bulls to a lot of events, but talk a little bit about the competition and why you felt like it was a bit of a surprise.
Well, I'm not going to say it was just a huge surprise, but at the end of the day, we went, even during the team season, I felt like we went more than anybody else. And then during the year, I only missed just a couple events. We were at every one we could be at, and I felt like we had a really good shot at it, and we kept our nose to the grindstone, never quit, always, if they needed bulls there, we were there with the bulls, no matter what. And I think that's kind of what secured it,
Yeah. When we talked back in 08, or at episode 8, not 08, but the growth of your program, originally that was one of your big goals, was to win Stock Contractor of the Year, and I know you still want to have a world champion bull and different things like that, but talk a little bit about the growth of your program just over the last couple years and kind of how that growth has really taken shape.
I just turned 30 this year, and I think, you have to go through the years and the experience and the hours, and, and we definitely did, not just me, but my partners, and I've got a bunch of new partners that have joined the team that have really, stepped up to the plate and wanted to invest into some of these great bucking bulls, and I feel like that's what it takes to be Stock Contractor of the Year. You got to have the best bulls going down the road. There's a lot of bulls that I would still like to acquire, but I feel like we got a great set at this point in time, and I couldn't be more thankful for the guys that have joined in. Chris Utz, the Kari brothers, Michael Floyd, Henry Wilson, Co Wetzel. He's a big part of this whole deal.
And he has been for a while, hasn't he?
He has.
He was there from even back in episode 8 when we talked. He was a part of Sellout and some of those other bulls that you had that were younger at the time.
Dirty Sancho was the first bull that he bought into with us, and that was before Co really got big and really got his stuff going. And look how much he's look how far he's come.
Absolutely.
He's come a long way, and it's the same with me. I mean, if you love something, you know, he's passionate about music, and I'm passionate about the bulls, and we're going to try our best to go to the top no matter what. So.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. What does that mean? So you talked about some of your partners, and I know Chris Utz. Is that
Chris
correct?
Utz.
So I know with, you know, I'll admit, I thought it was UTZ. Like when I see it, I'll be like, UTZ, you know. But what does it mean to have people like that, like invest in you, your program, and, you know, how just as a man, like how do you view that I'm sure it's a great sense of pride.
It is. It totally is. And Chris is really invested. Like he's invested as far as like, you know, stats, keeping up with the bulls, the riders, the team series. Like he loves being a part of this. And, you know, I think that's what makes him a very special partner to this team because of his love for the sport. Yeah.
And just in general, when you make these new partners, talk a little bit about how does that process work? Is it something where, is it kind of a mix of people reach out to you about wanting to get involved with bulls versus you maybe have relationships that you reach out to and say, hey, got a lot of interest in this bull? How does that work? Because I'm sure that it's different for every stock contractor.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, they do come to me, and I am not going to say I'm truly picky on who I choose to be in my circle, but at the end of the day, I mean, I got to be. You know, you can't just let everybody be involved because a lot of people like to talk. They like to say, hey, you know, I want a bull, this and that, but are they really serious about it? You know, I want people that's actually involved and really wants to see this thing go the furthest. And, you know, guys like Chris and them, that's the kind of guys I want in my corner.
Absolutely. And in regards to your program, I've been out to your place out there in Mississippi and stuff. What does it take? You know, does your place have to grow along with your roster growing? Or do you turn over and kind of keep the same amount? How does that work back at the ranch?
Well, you know, I was pretty prepared for more bulls. You know, I mean, we're always at the barn. We're always around the ranch, I call it, and you know, we're always building new pens. We're about to cover. We've got a big covered barn, but we're about to go ahead and cover the outside pens as well.
Heck yeah.
And we're going to put 8 more pens, big pens, out there as well. So that's going to help a whole lot.
Absolutely.
So I'm wanting to be more prepared every day. You know, whether it be building more pens, putting automatic waters in. That's one of the things I'd like to do. But there's just a lot of things that I try to be on top of, and that's one of them, being prepared for more animals to come in, you know.
Definitely. Well, ever since I first met you, I've been a big fan of yours and how you do things and all that. And so, again, I'm grateful to be a part of just kind of getting to witness what you're doing with your program and kind of playing a small role in just trying to help you get that story out there. So I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about your roster of bulls because, you know, stock contractor of the year, you can only get so far without the bull power.
That's right.
And, you know, Chris Utz specifically, 2 of your top bulls that probably receive the most notoriety anyway. Let's start with Legend, who as of right now is in the top 5 and has really made a strong case for Bucking Bull of the Year this year. Talk a little bit about Legend. How did you acquire Legend? Where did he come from? And, you know, just how did Chris get involved with that? And was that something that you saw and you were like, I want this? Or was that something you and Chris just talked about? Or how did that all play out?
So, you know, Legend was a bull that just, you know, he was on the radar of the PBR, but he had only been to one PBR the time that I had seen him, you know, and didn't really know what to expect with him, but we knew he was an athlete. We knew he bucked hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, we decided to purchase the bull, but the way I went about it was Chris was heavily involved with me at the time, and I reached out to him, and he said, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, Legend really started building his name up when I took him to Ridgedale.
Okay.
They marked him 46.5.
Was that the team event?
Yes.
I remember you sent me that video, right?
Yes.
Was that the one?
That was the first time I'd flanked the bull, and I knew.
Gosh.
I knew when I flanked him and watched him perform that he had something special.
Yeah.
You know, he had Bucking Bull of the Year contender on him. You know, so we just kind of not necessarily baby that bull long, but he's so quick to move. He's like a deer. I mean, he's just a different animal, and so we have to be careful to keep him sound and healthy.
Yeah.
Because he is so quick to move, and you just never know what he's going to do. And we've had some lows with him, and he broke his horn at one of the events, and we had to get it chopped off halfway. Luckily, there was no infection. It healed up great. But that bull, like I said, he's a hair trigger in the chute.
Yeah.
And but I think he's starting to settle in.
That's good.
We've done some things different with him, rope around the horn, sawing back and forth. That kind of keeps him calm in there. But I think this week during the World Finals, he has a true shot to win Bucking Bull of the Year.
Yeah.
I think he's more prepared than he ever has been.
Yeah. And was he originally a rodeo bull? Was he pro rodeoing and stuff? Where did y'all get him
He
from?
was under Pete Carr.
Okay. Pete Carr Pro Rodeo.
Pete Carr actually sold him to Paradigm, and then I got him from them. And
cool.
He's a true specimen, man. I've never really been around a whole lot of bulls like him.
Yeah.
You know.
So you alluded to this. I'd love for you to just explain this to our audience. So when they put the rope across the top of the bull's head, you just alluded to it. Talk a little bit. What is that for? And,
calming.
Okay.
You know, it's just more of a. He likes scratches.
Okay.
You know, he likes to be petted on and outside the arena, outside the buck and shoot. And I believe the rope just running across very slowly just kind of keeps his mind settled.
I got you.
And it's very obvious to me that it does that with him, you know, and I thought that was really neat that he does actually take to that.
That's cool. Yeah.
But, a lot of people don't know that.
Exactly. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that, and they're like, what are they, you know, they probably think they're trying to hold their head down, but it's not that at all.
No,
it's more of a calming effect.
Yes, sir.
That's very cool. So other bull that received a lot of notoriety this year and even beyond, or, last year, a PRCA Bucking Bull of the Year was Smokestack. Talk a little bit about getting Smokestack, and, you know, this kind of brings into question some of the, you know, the rodeo versus the PBR and kind of the level of bull and the quality and different things like that. Talk a little bit about Smokestack, what you saw on him, and just kind of the story about how you got him.
You know, Smokestack is probably my favorite bull that I've got as far as, you know, just a big teddy bear.
That's exactly what I was about to say. He's a teddy bear, isn't he?
Outside the arena, you know, if he's not at a bull riding in the back pens, you know, at home or even on the road at bull housing, you know, you can just walk right up to him. Like, he can be walking up the alley. I can stand right in the middle of the alley, and he'll just walk right up to me, go to my right side or my left side, and just stop. And he wants me to pet him. There's just cool. There's no mean bone in him during that time. Now, you run him, you get him to the event, you know, I believe he knows it's game time because you can tell he gets his motor running. And, you know, he's just a special bull. But the way we acquired him is truly, you know, it's hard to explain that somebody would let him go, because I truly wouldn't want to let him go.
Yeah.
He's that special, but we were able to get him bought, and couldn't be more thankful, you know. And Chris Utz and the Carr brothers, you know, they wanted to pull that trigger on him, and they did. And like I said, I couldn't be more thankful they did. But it all worked out. Yeah, we appreciate Rhett Butler and Benny and
that's right,
Butler and Son Pro Rodeo.
Yeah,
for selling us that bull.
That's amazing. So he won PRCA Bull of the Year. Obviously, I feel like you think that any bull that gets on your trailer has the potential to be Bull of the Year. But talk a little bit about the difference between the fact that he could win PRCA Bucking Bull of the Year, but kind of be where he is right now, and just kind of the level, the differences that you've noticed in maybe a rodeo bull versus when you come to the PBR? What are the differences that you face as a stock contractor with a bull that's making that transition from rodeo to the PBR, and kind of how does that work?
You know, the PBR is, I feel like it is the best bull riders in the world, and it's proven when you do buy a bull that comes out of the pro rodeo life, the PRCA, and you bring them, you transition them over to the PBR. You can tell the difference just by, Smokestack was unridden in 2022, and then you take him to the PBR in 2023, and he gets rode for, 92, 91 and 3/4. He got rode for 92 twice. I do know that, which is great scores. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
outstanding. And I feel like that bull is now the locker room favorite, for getting
draft,
on the bull to win big on. If you ride that bull, you bet you're probably going to be 90. You know?
You're going to be a pile of points. And a lot of the guys I've talked to him specifically about, I actually had Chase Doherty on, talked to him about picking Smokestack, and he kind of feels like he's kind of like Bruiser, like just a powerful bull that is honest,
Yes, sir.
And again, that's really unique to hear because again, goes all of 2022, never gets ridden in the PRCA, but then comes over here and, it's not that he's easy to ride, but it's just that, the kind of the talent level, the skill level, and when you get into those championship rounds, guys are looking for something like that are honest, as opposed to compare and contrast him and Legend, because you talked a little bit about Legend's athleticism, and that's something that stands out in spades when you watch a video of him buck. What are the differences, and kind of as a stock contractor, how do you treat those differently when you're kind of working with them?
Well, they're both really good athletes. They're both gifted in many ways, and I feel like Legend, he just has a little bit of extra to him as far as snap and kick. If Legend does it right in the gate and kicks over his head and comes around hard, I just don't think there's very many bulls that can stand with him.
Yeah.
Smokestack, he may do something totally different every time, and so does Legend. But Smoke, he's very smart. He's more matured than Legend. They both got very special qualities, though. I mean, it's hard to compare the two because they're both great athletes.
Yeah. What are their ages? I don't even know their ages.
Smokestack is going to be a 6-year-old, and Legend is going to be a 5.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you sharing kind of some insight on those, because I know that those are two bulls that everybody looks at in your pen.
They're both outstanding.
It's just
in many
like
ways.
Yeah. But we alluded to doing a little rapid fire, and I want to do something a little different. So we talked about the fact you got 15 bulls here at the World Finals, which is insane. Because if they bring 100 bulls, you got 15% of the entire herd. I'll do a little rapid fire. I'm going to tell you a bull's name. You give me a little bit about that bull, just whatever you want to share, whether it's what he does or just a quick story about him or something you love about that bull, right? And one bull that I do see in the short round at times, and I know Cooper Davis got on him earlier, Yellowknife. Let's start there.
Yellowknife's a powerhouse. I mean, you talk about a big, stout bull that really brings the power. If the bull would extend every time, he'd probably be a front runner.
Yeah.
But he beats his guys with front end power. I mean, he's dropping as hard as one can and coming around hard. And I feel like the trip the other night was probably one of his best trips he's had in a long time with Cooper.
Yeah.
And that bull there, he's never let me down. He's always turned back right in the gate. He's had a lot of trips, and a lot of bulls will have bad days, off days, and to me, he's never had a bad day.
Just consistent.
Just very consistent. Always turns back and stays hooked, and tries. That's what I like to see out of a bull.
Absolutely. So Bandito Bug, he got ridden the other night for a pretty good pile of points, didn't he?
89.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about him.
Bandito, he's still new to the team, still trying to figure out what he likes, whether it be lighter flank, a little bit more flank. Still trying to figure that out on him, but he's never done anything different. He's always turned back right there, and he will go the other way. But I think Bandito, he's kind of maturing up and getting a little bit better with age, and I think he may be something special throughout the next few years. But he's just he's a bull that I truly like. He handles good, and he's always cleaning his feet up, which is important on the road.
Yeah.
So he's a veteran. He knows what's going on.
Cool. All right, and out of all the bulls you have here, I believe Centerfold is your only muley here, correct?
He is, yes.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Centerfold.
Centerfold hasn't always been a muley. I talked to Shad Smith about him, and he was a one-horn for there for a long time, and he ended up getting a horn infection the first time, so they had to take that horn off. And then the second time, I believe he broke his horn, his last horn, and so that's what made him a muley. But whether he's a bull with horns or a muley, he still bucks hard, and he's truly a bull that I've become to really love. He just his whole demeanor outside the arena, and then you roll him in the chute, stands like a champ, and he's gonna buck. He has a lot of front end power, and he kind of hits and then kind of moves forward a little bit, which makes it very hard for them guys to gather up, and that's why he's bringing these guys down. He's still unridden, and he's been against several great guys, Kaiki, Dalton Castle. Them guys have really tried that bull, and he's been able to get him on the ground, and says a lot for a bull that small. He's not real big, but you're talking about a sure enough powerhouse, just built real hard, a lot of muscle, and proud of that bull.
Definitely. I know you have a special place for this. Excuse me, for this one, but Mike's Motive.
Oh yeah, Mike, man, he's truly special to me and Connor Cleveland, and me and Connor bought this bull at it was a sale online, Breeders Connection, or Elite Breeders, and so we buy the bull. He was young. He was a coming 3-year-old. We turned him out, kind of forgot about him for a little bit, just let him grow up. We started bucking this bull, and we just knew we had something pretty special. He was super fast. He always brought it, and he's been lights out. This is his third finals, and we look to see him make 3 or 4 more. He's built for it. He's not real big. He's compact, and I think this bull will go a long ways. He just loves it. If he's not getting on the truck, he's upset about it.
Let's talk about Hoka Hay.
Hoka Hay is a bull that we bought from Nathan Doss. He's a bull that come from the same place as Detroit Lean, Superior Genetics. Really like their breeding program. I feel like they raise a lot of great rider bulls. I've always liked that bull. At first I thought he was going to be a bull that got ridden quite a bit, but he's turned out to be a bull that he didn't get ridden at all during the regular season, and he drew Ramon de Lima the other night, and he was able to ride him for 88 3/4, which is fantastic. Great bull score, great bull ride. But he's just a younger bull, just turned 5. He's not fully matured as far as size, but he's definitely big enough to handle the guys at this level, and I look forward to seeing his career progress.
Yeah. Tijuana two-step. He's one that I've seen him in some short rounds, haven't I?
Yeah, he's a highlight bull. He's a hard kicking bull, really extends. Got a lot of timing. The guys like to get on that bull. He's usually a re-ride bull, which means that's a bull that, him and Mike's Motive, that's a bull that Riley Gagnon can count on, and trust. And they can be a lot of points on both of those bulls. And he kind of falls in there. He was kind of a bull I wanted to pick up and get bought just for those reasons.
Yeah.
He's just a bull that guys love to get on, and those are the type of bulls that you need on the truck.
Yeah, definitely. Detroit Lean.
Troy Lane's a special bull, man. He come from Mr. Henry Wilson. Mr. Henry bought him when he was a young bull, turned him out. I believe I got that bull whenever he was 3, coming 4.
Yeah.
Hadn't had very many rider outs, and whenever I got him, he was super ranked. To me, he was the best bull I had during a certain period of time. There for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
He come right after Show Enough, which was another bull of Henry's that was outstanding. Went to the finals 4 times. Always was a short round bull. Detroit kind of took his place for Mr. Henry, and he's putting up big numbers. Got high mark bull 3 or 4 times. Just a fantastic bull. Today, I'm not gonna say he's still that bull, but he's still a great bull. He's fallen off just a little bit with age, but he's still gonna put out the effort and give you a show.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Fierce's Dirt Nap. He's your newest bull, correct?
He is a new bull, and he just turned 6 years old, and I feel like the bull's matured, and he's done got to the point to where he kind of knows the deal. His problem is he gets a little too close. He always turns back right there in the gate, and he may hit a horn, may hit his head, right there on the chute, which will cause a foul. The other night he got a re-ride, but he still bucked. Bucked the guy off and still finished the job. So he is coming back, and I believe he'll be out Friday night. Excuse me.
Okay.
So he'll be in the draft round where they pick him.
Very cool.
And I look forward to who picks that bull. I'm ready to see him again.
Yeah, absolutely. Lapua.
Lapua's special, man. We bought that bull as a young bull, 3-year-old. I think we bought him maybe after his 2nd, 3rd rider trip. And he's a bull that we kind of sat on for a little bit. He was smaller, wasn't a real big frame bull. Didn't know how big he was going to get just because it's hard to tell at that age.
Yeah.
But turning him out, green grass, my feed every day, and the bull's done got quite a bit bigger. He's put on several 100 pounds, and to me, he's able to handle them guys a lot better now. And when I really noticed that he could handle the guys, I took him to a PBR up in Indiana, and he drew Ed Nakaminus in the short round.
Yeah.
And he turned back right into Ed Knight's hand and bucked him off about 3 or 4 seconds. And
dang,
they marked him 44.5. He was high mark bull of the event.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we might have something, He might be able to take it. So that's why he's here. We also, when we got him back home, turned him out again, brought him up. To me, he's a little bit bigger than he was.
Yeah.
So he's maturing right now. He's growing, and I feel like the bull's going to be great, and he'll be out Friday night as well.
Heck yeah. Soul King,
new bull that we bought from Ace of Spades.
Okay.
I didn't know what to expect of this bull. I seen him. We went to get another bull, and this bull was there, and I ended up buying him.
Yeah.
He had been against some guys up here at the stockyards. They don't live very far. They live here in Stephenville.
Yeah.
And they brought him up here a few times and had a few Brazilians get on him, and they sure tried him, and it looked like the bull had no quit. And that's what I like. I like to see heart, and I've put that bull in the truck every time, and he's been against some of the best guys in the business, and Kaiki was able to win the round on him here recently, and he's lights out. He's right in the gate every time. He gives you a show, and he's pretty to watch.
Definitely.
Guys love to get on him.
Oh yeah. What about, last but not least, Mr. Nasty?
Mr. Nasty's a very special bull that I bought a group of 5 bulls. They were 3-year-olds, and he was one of them. He turned out to be the best bull. Just kind of let him mature up, hauled him to a few classics his 4-year-old year. Didn't quite have it figured out. He was one of them bulls that would hit out across there and jerk the guys down.
Yeah.
And you weren't really getting to see a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of let him mature up mentally, and he's turned into a great bull. He's right in the gate every time, either left or right. The bull actually hurt himself. He actually fractured a bone in his back leg. Mm-hmm. We fixed it. 8 months later, we take him to an event about 2 months ago, and he was great. And then I took him to Albuquerque. He bucked twice there and qualified to the finals.
Very nice.
He's putting up big numbers. The last out, he got rode by Silvano Alves for 89 3/4.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I was like, man, it's sure good to see this bull back doing what he loves and healthy, because you never know if a bull comes off an injury, just like a human, if everything's going to go right.
Oh, yeah.
And he hasn't missed a step.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you diving in on those rapid fire, because I think a lot of people, especially that listen to your episode, they're fans of these bulls. They love the PBR, stuff like that. So hearing a little bit and getting some of that behind the scenes insight is awesome for them.
Yes, sir.
I know you're also involved with the ABBI. What are some, talk a little bit about maybe some of the prospects that aren't here, that are maybe younger, stuff like that are back up in Mississippi right now that you are excited about, or you think kind of have a future getting on the truck with your team?
Well, I've been raising them for about 8 years, and these cows that I've got now are own daughters of Hammered again, and I've got a lot of Hammer daughters that we have AI'd, Houdini daughters. I've got some babies on the ground out of Show Enough, Slinging Tears, Detroit Lean. I mean, Dirty Sancho. There's a lot of bulls. All them bulls went to the finals, and I was able to breed to them. And I feel like a lot of those calves are going to be something pretty special. And so I feel like I'm just now getting into the cream of the crop, I call it. In the past years, I've had some good bulls, but I feel like these ones now are going to be super special. So I look forward to going through them this summer.
Yeah, that's awesome. With your program and with you as a stock contractor, talk a little bit about your mindset. So you have a lot of partners. You've gotten some bigger bulls, some bigger, higher profile bulls lately, different things like that. But, you just alluded to your cows and, your breeding and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about your mindset of your program and just kind of give people that insight to kind of how you run your operation or how you view stock contracting for you.
For me, it's the big bulls. I mean, I tell everybody I love the big bulls more than I do the young bulls and the futurities and the dummy calves, and I feel like I've always been that way, and there's a lot of people that'll tell you that. I mean, I've always loved the big bulls. I feel like I can handle them better. A lot of people are scared of big bulls, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I respect them.
Why? Because they look like pets next to you, or is that why, or what?
I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to respect them.
Yeah.
You got to read them. There's bulls that will get you.
Yeah.
And then there's bulls that, if you're scared of them and they can sense that you're scared of them, then they may end up trying you.
Yeah.
But if you show them that, hey, you're not boss here. It's a fine line. You just got to be able to read them. And I've been able to read them because I've been around them my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's not something you can just jump into.
Yeah.
You gotta be around so many of them to be able to walk around them calm and keep them calm. Because if you go at them the wrong way, then it could be a disaster.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So now that you've won Stock Contractor of the Year, what are which is a big check mark for you as far as an achievement that you wanted to attain? What are what goals and plans and dreams do you have still to come in your future? What are some of the things you're looking to do as a contractor or just in your career in general?
Well, I feel like this is just the beginning, and I feel like we can go as far as we want to with it. Been able to get this far with it, I feel like there's no limits at this point, and that's the goal at the end of the day, is just go as far as we can with it. And it's not me. I mean, I am the coach and the leader of the team here, but at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's on the same page. My guys are the best. They truly love it, and I feel like we can go as far as we want to with it.
Definitely, man, definitely. I think that's an awesome kind of bow to put on this to dive into some fan questions, because we got quite a few submitted. Emily asks, Do you have a favorite bull?
Favorite bull, smokestack. Smokestack's just a big gentle giant that loves to buck, but there's just not very many like. I haven't seen any other bull like this one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Mike's motive's very similar, but this one's just he reminds me of a horse.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to say that about very many bulls.
Yeah, especially ranked bucking bulls, right?
But I mean, you can walk up this bull and pick his foot up off the ground and check the bottom of his feet.
Dang.
Man, what bucking bulls will let you do that?
That's cool. To be honest, when that question came through, I was like, man, Blake's probably not going to be able to answer it that fast, but that must mean something for sure.
Yes, sir.
Stacy asks, what does a daily routine with the bulls look like for you on your ranch?
You know, every morning they get hay. We keep them on a strict diet, so it's not all you can eat. You know, it's hay in the mornings and then grain in the evenings, and I do that to keep these bulls fit, or they'll get fat on you.
Yeah.
You know, but we want them. We don't want them like bodybuilders, but we want them lean and mean, if
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so every day on the ranch, it's something to do with them. And we may be fixing fence from bulls getting in fights out in the pastures, or, you know, it's always watering. You know, there's a lot of, especially during the summer.
That's why you want them automatic water trucks.
It would help a lot.
Yeah.
But there's always something to do.
Yeah. So Tucker asks, and I'm going to kind of try to paraphrase this. What type of degree in college could help you with a stock contracting type job? Or do you know of one?
To be honest with you, it's hard to say. I don't think there's anything that they offer that would help with this. Experience is the only thing. I mean, you got to start somewhere. So I mean, if you start with a few fraternity calves, for an example, just, I'm not saying go start with some big bulls, but start with some young bulls and try to figure out, messing with them every day and figuring out how they work, you know, and just kind of go from there. But I've got thousands of hours and many of miles and, you know, a lot of experience with these bulls.
Yeah.
And it takes that to get to this level. And so my word to anybody that's trying to get into it is start small and, you know, just work your way up. You know, I started hauling one bull and now I'm hauling bunches of them, you know. So at the end of the day, you got to start somewhere. So just get a few, maybe one.
Yeah.
But, you know, start there and go from there. Take them to a few fraternities. Try to figure out the feeding. The feeding thing is the biggest thing with me, nutrition.
Yeah.
You know, and I feed my own feed. I make my own feed. I'm very particular on what bull gets what.
Yeah.
And I think that's what got me to this level today.
Definitely. We had a question on Facebook. I can't pronounce, or no, this is just a comment. But it says, what 3 things are most important to the success of your business? If you could narrow it down to 3 things.
We'll start with nutrition, you know, feed. That's a big deal. Feed and hay, you know, you want good quality hay as well. Setup, you know, the right pens, the right housing for bulls at home.
Yeah.
That's big. And just being driven. Like you can't say, hey, I want to go do this over here when you got bulls to take care of. I mean, there's a lot of people that do that. You got to choose them over a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've chose them over things that I didn't want to choose them over. But at the end of the day, they're my passion, they're my love.
Yeah.
And so
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yes.
Yeah. So jumping in on the last question, this comes in from Kate. It says, the media likes to focus on rider injuries, but the bulls are athletes too. Do the bulls ever incur injuries that take them out of competition? And what are the steps to keeping a Bull of the Year contender healthy for the last rounds of finals?
You know, just like we go back to Nasty, you know, he ended up hurting himself during the team, hurt himself in Cheyenne. And we took him out I mean, he wasn't limping real bad, but I knew something wasn't right. So we ended up taking him to Mississippi State University. Got him checked out there, and lo and behold, he had a little fracture.
Mm-hmm.
And so they decided they would do surgery on him. They did. And we laid him off for right at 8 months. And then I took him to his first event back, and he was lights out. His first event back, he was 44.5 points.
That's amazing.
And then his second trip, another outstanding trip. Then he gets rode for 89 3/4. So that shows that he was able to go. He bucked the guy off really quick at 44.5 points. And then they marked him 43 3/4 when he got rode for 89 3/4.
Yeah.
And he was able to buck the full 8 seconds. Got back to Bullhausen, got him on the truck, got him back to Bullhausen. No limp, nothing. He was good.
You'll take that all day long.
That's right. So at the end of the day, to keep these bulls healthy, I got a very good vet, Dr. Caitlin Wenzel, Dr. Gretchen Grissett. Those ladies there at Mississippi State, they keep these bulls very healthy, very, very sound, and that's what we want. And feet trims, if a bull's getting a little long on his feet trims. You know, we do a lot of those. We do one or two every week usually.
Yeah.
Because if a bull's got a good platform to stand on, good foundation, I feel like he'll give you more in the arena.
Definitely. Well, man, I know this is your second time on. I'm sure it won't be your last, but I really enjoyed this. Is there anything you'd like to say to fans specifically of you? I know we had an outpouring of people saying congratulations, and I know you did too. And then just in general, fans of the sport of bull riding.
Well, I appreciate everyone that did congratulate me, and I try to be a very humble person about everything I do in life, and it's very humbling to see all the comments and the calls, and it's been a heck of a ride, and I'm not going to let you guys down. There's going to be more to come.
Heck yeah, that's a good way to do it. And again, thank you so much for being here. I really, really enjoyed this. And thank you all for listening, and the Lane Frost brand for sponsoring these podcasts for 2023. Without that support, we couldn't do what we love doing here for y'all. Make sure and go to lanefrost.com for merch and all things Lane Frost, along with all of their socials across all the major social media platforms. And remember to use the code TDT15 at checkout to save 15% on your orders. Also, thank you to Don Stubbs and the brand room for allowing us to set up in here today. Blake, if you would, what are your social media handles, and where can people follow along with what you got going on?
Instagram would be the one that y'all would follow. It's at Sharp Bucking Bulls. You can follow all the bulls. I usually post every bull that I can, so that's a good one to look into.
Awesome. And that, again, that's the best way to keep up with Blake. I can attest to that. A lot of good videos of those bulls, see them in action, all these bulls we just talked about. And follow along with us on social media as well, at Tough Draw and at Tough Draw Talks, for more episodes of the podcast as we continue to bring y'all closer to the rodeo community. Until next time, everyone, enjoy the ride.